Oh, how fabulous. Hi, and welcome to How Fabulous by Toni and Co. I'm Toni, and in today's episode, I have a very lovely chat to a fabulous lady called Paula. And she has a store that I love called Tiera Alma. So I always know her as Paula from Tiera Alma. And I met her when I was producing an advertising campaign for the Mordialloc Traders Association right here in Melbourne. And I got to meet a lot of the fabulous store owners down there in Mordialloc. And Paula was one of them. And she's got a really, really, really interesting story. I love her store. It's just full of beautiful boho chic ladies wear brands, but you sort of, when you walk in the store, you just feel like it's just, you're going to another place. But her story outside of how she started and continues to keep Tiera Alma going, especially, you know, with COVID last year, it was really quite brutal for retailers. She has her personal story that she shares, and I just felt, I don't even know what the word is. Talking to Paula was just a wonderful experience, and that's all I can say about that. She's a really cool chick. She looks like a rock star. She reminds me of Stevie Nicks, but she's not. So Paula from Tiera Alma, I'm sure you will enjoy this episode. She's just fabulous. So yes, there you go. Welcome to How Fabulous by Toni and Co, my little chat show. And then today, my guest today is the very fabulous Paula from Tiera Alma. Now, Tiera Alma is in Mordialloc in Melbourne, and it is a fabulous, if I've described it incorrectly, but it's got a boho kind of rock kind of fashion vibe to it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a good description. Very good description.
There we go.
Yeah.
And we'll talk all about that.
And unique. It's
it's so unique.
Yeah, very unique. Well, we hope it's unique.
It is very unique,
yeah,
without
that's
question.
The aim.
So this is the lovely Paula.
Hi. How are you?
Thank you
Hi,
so
Toni.
much for being my guest.
Thank you heaps for having me. I really appreciate being asked to come along.
I know that there's a whole big thing, because you're not only a business owner, you've got a life outside of all that, but I would say that, you know, managing and owning a business in itself is more than full time.
It is, definitely.
And you've had to move a whole lot of stuff just to be here. So I'm really grateful for you doing that.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me. Like I said, I was honoured to be asked. It was lovely.
Yeah. So Paula and I met, a couple of years ago now. I was engaged to produce a little bit of a video campaign for the Mordialloc Traders Association, and I was lucky enough to meet a lot of the traders in Mordialloc, which is, Mordialloc is, I guess, a suburb in Melbourne that is beachside, and it's just got a lovely feel to it.
Yeah, it's got a very holiday feel. It's very busy. It's bustling at the moment for, I would say, predominantly food and wine and dining. But yeah, it's kind of, they're calling it the new St Kilda, but
Who said that, really?
Yeah, that's what they're calling it, but I think it's got a very different vibe to St Kilda. It's not as quirky and interesting as St Kilda. As amazing as Mordialloc is, it just isn't. Doesn't have that demographic.
I think they're maybe trying to make it. It's a little bit more, not upmarket.
A little bit more upmarket.
Kind of polished.
It's not as
a little
alternative.
bit more polished.
A little bit more polished. It's not as alternative as St Kilda, but it's got the food and the wine and the dining, and it's in summer it's just bustling.
It is so busy, and you know we're a local now. Again, we moved down to the peninsula and then came back.
Okay.
But one of the reasons I wanted to do that, I did the video about 9 years ago, and it was a very different space
in Mordialloc.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it would have been. Yeah, it's grown a lot, changed a lot in 9 years.
Yeah. It's huge.
I've been there 7, and I've just seen it. Yeah, it's getting developed, and it's just changing so much.
And there's bars and all sorts of wonderful places, including your beautiful shop.
My beautiful store, yeah.
So we got to meet each other very briefly, but I remember just going into your store and thinking, oh wow, look at all these amazing trinkets and clothes and you'd just done it up so beautifully, you know, and as a stylist, I looked at it and went, wow. Who's doing this? I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I just I had a vision. I'm quite creative, I guess, and I have a particular style, and I'm quite creative. One of my girlfriends that's an interior designer said to me, you have a knack of putting things together that are from different periods or different genres, and you put them all in one room and they all work, which she said is not really heard of apparently in interior design. But she said you've got modern and old and boudoir and just a mix of styles all put together, but it's just what's in my what's in my head or my heart and what I see, and I just
but you see that you really get that feeling when you walk into your store that it is in your head, in your heart, that you've done it and you've put your Paula stamp on it. Yeah,
that's what Hales, who works for me, says you've polarised it. So I like polarised it. I'm like, I love that.
Yeah, take it, own it.
But look, I just wanted to create a space. When I first started, that was like you were walking into your bedroom. You're walking into your bedroom or some room in your home, and you felt warm and homely, and that you wanted to feel beautiful and come out of that space hopefully with something new and feel like really beautiful about yourself. So that was why we started that.
And when was that? That was how many years ago?
We did 7 years ago. So 2014, I opened March the 1st, 2014. Wow. I opened the store, and my long-term relationship had split up. My ex-partner and I were together for 22 years, had 2 children.
Oh.
Yeah, and then he, I think our 20-year anniversary gave me a commitment ceremony in Bali on the beach, because we met in Bali 20 years prior. We took the kids. Then 18 months later, he took off. He decided to, go and that was a bit tough. So he decided to do that. Just before he left, though, we had been to Byron Bay for a holiday. We'd been to Bali for the 20-year anniversary. Then him and I went a year later to Byron, just on our own, first time away from the kids.
Wow, that's a big thing in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, and we went there, and I don't know, I just fell in love with Byron. So that was it's 2011, so 10 years ago. Fell in love with it, and this idea just came to me. I'd like to start doing something with some brands that are up here. It was such a creative hab. Didn't have the shop then.
But did you have any experience in retail or shop? What were you doing?
I did. I was a beauty therapist by trade.
Yeah.
So I studied when I was 23 and did diploma of beauty therapy at Flagstaff, which is now Vic Uni, and I taught. So I did beauty therapy for 14 years, and then I taught beauty therapy at Chisholm for 10 years and at Vic Uni for 4. So I did completely different. I mean, I was in, my industry was beauty therapy, so I was in salon, but then so I did that for quite a long time. Then from being in salon, after I had my second child, went into teaching at Vic Uni. Then went on to Chisholm and taught at Chisholm TAFE, and was the coordinator of the Diploma of Beauty Therapy at the Frankston campus for quite a few years. But had an amazing team under me and above me, and so I did that for a long time. And then when Grant left, at the same time that happened, a whole lot of stuff changed with TAFE and government funding, and I had a really lovely coordinator, but we had a really bad manager for our department. And the whole thing, the skills reform came into TAFE, and it just all changed. And the funding to Diploma of Beauty Therapy changed, and a lot of us started to sort of move out of TAFE. It just wasn't about. Well, we felt it wasn't about putting good people or good therapists into industry anymore. It was about bums on seat. So I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but
isn't that a shame when that
magic?
Happens?
Yeah,
that happens. That happens across the board, I think.
Yeah,
school sometimes. It becomes a business, and it is about making money rather than the passion for it and actually imparting, great knowledge to people that really want to be in an industry and really learn about it and continue it on. That's a real shame.
Yeah, so it is. And it does. It became a business. So, and TAFE was always about industry. So
that's why you go. That's why you go either to uni or to TAFE, because you want to learn a trade and get straight into the industry.
Yeah. So, and then Grant and I broke up, and after that happened, and I kind of had this connection to a few people in Byron, and what I started doing was I just thought, look, I'll start with online. I'll start doing, and I was really good at makeup. I taught a lot of advanced makeup. That was one of my strengths. So got a few of my students together and a couple of my niece, a couple of other people together, did the makeup and we did the hair. I'd bought some clothing for Byron. My first brand that I started with was Goddess of Babylon. Don't know if you've heard of that one. They were amazing, beautiful clothing, and they were out in the industrial part of Byron. That was my first brand. So I got a little bit of that, and we just did a little photo shoot in my house, because I had quite a quirky house. So we did that and just thought we'll just pop it up on Facebook. I had no idea about websites or Instagram, social media, nothing.
How fabulous!
Just thought I'll put this on Facebook.
This is so
I'll have
cool.
a go. I'll have a go at this. And I was quite passionate about it. I just wanted to do something different. It was like kids, like my daughter Abigail was only 13 when Grant left. Bryn was 19, but I thought I want to do something really different. If I don't do it now, someone else is going to do it. So
wow.
So I just did that photo shoot. Facebook, we didn't really get many sales. It was really, so I was still teaching at Chisholm at the time, and then I was just at a party one night and I was talking to this lady that I knew who told me about another girl that had started a store in another suburb quite close to me, and I thought, oh my God, if I don't do this, someone's going to do this in Mordialloc. I've got to jump on this. So I found this space. I just drove past, I was driving on Beach Road, drove past the shop, saw a sign in the window, thought, that's it. I've got to contact the agent. Contacted the agent, my girlfriend Melissa, and I went and looked through the window. The shop was hideous. It was not in a great way.
You saw that.
But I had the vision, and she looked at it with me. She goes, because she's very good, like she was my handy girl. She was good with a drill, and her husband was amazing. So she said, we'll support you all the way. Let's gut it. Let's get it going. Let's do it. So I met the real estate.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was and it was just going to be a pop-up store because I was still teaching. I was on my way out.
Right down the end?
Yeah, that was where you came.
Yeah, right. So,
yeah, and I just said, I'm not really allowed to say gypsy. It's politically incorrect these days, but I wanted a gypsy den, boudoir-y kind of, wanted something, wanted the vision that I had. So Melissa and I went in with her husband and a few other people, my kids and a couple of their kids and a few friends, and we just stripped back the shop. Like obviously I got the shop, but the shop was a pop-up store, and the agent, it was a month-to-month lease, really cheap, no outgoing, just a month-to-month lease, so you didn't know how long you were going to be there. So we just did it, we fitted it out, and then whilst all that was happening, I was still teaching, but I had also had my heart set on getting Spell from Byron Bay.
The
brand Spell, because I had Goddess of Babylon, and they, all from Byron, and Spell, I knew the girls were Melbourne girls originally, and I was emailing Jamie, who was the wholesale manager, and we were back and forth a bit, and she said, once you've got your shop front happening, let's talk. And then I've got a really close girlfriend, Belinda, who's really close friends to Spelly. Hadn't seen Belinda for, 7 years, and by chance I was sitting at the wine bar in Mordialloc Cellar Door. I was actually going to go and sit inside that night. I thought, no, we'll sit out the front. Sat out the front.
I love this way how the universe works.
I'm sitting there with my Spell jacket on, and B comes walking past with her partner, and I'm like, oh my God. And I had no idea at the time that she knew Spelly. No idea. And we sat down. She goes, oh, is that a Spell jacket you've got on? I went, yeah. I go, do you know the brand? She goes, I've designed for them. I know Spell's one of my really closest friends. I said, oh my God, I'm just in negotiations with them, trying to get the brand. She goes, I'm up there on Monday. I'll have a chat to Jamie. I know her well.
Serendipity.
And Jamie came back and said, brand's yours. I went, oh my gosh, I just got goosebumps. And then I was so excited because the girls were from Mentone, Cheltenham area.
Oh, really? So local.
And I was
it was
opening
all meant
a store.
That
was really...
The fact that you were sitting outside that night, that you were even there.
Because I was going to sit inside, and I would not have seen her if I'd sat inside.
And you had that particular jacket on. You could have been wearing any other jacket.
Yeah, the conversation
fact that she'd
just
sort of come along at that particular time, and then it all
evolved from there.
Don't you think that things like that happen all the time in my life. And I mean, I think sometimes we're closed to it because too much stuff's going on.
Yeah.
But often, you know, people go, oh, it's meant to be, you know, it was meant to be that time and I was meant to meet that person. And sometimes it doesn't happen and you really want it so bad, but it just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
I always think it's just not meant to be. Things are meant to be.
And that was meant to be.
When they are meant to be.
Yeah, they'll fall into the universal.
Yeah.
Like the worlds will collide. So, yeah, and we got that. And so...
So you had two brands on?
Yeah, had got us a Babylon and Spell came on board, which was amazing. Kept just sourcing Byron Bay labels, whatever.
And why did you sort of keep going back to Byron Bay? Because that's your kind of flavour. I always think, and I told you this before, I think that you remind me of Stevie Nicks, and you know, you've got this really amazing rock chick kind of boho kind of cool vibe about you. And both your stores are like that. You know, you've created very special spaces in both of them. I think this store's a bit of a different shape anyway, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a lot longer. And it feels a little bit different.
It does feel a bit different. I do miss the old space a little bit. I knew it was time for us to leave that space, but yeah, like, well, Stevie Nicks is my hero, my what do you call your diva, your idol.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, I love her dress sense. I love her music. Yeah. Everyone says, like Bryn and Abby said, we have to listen to Stevie Nicks again, Mum, we're going to kill you. Like, but I love her and I love her whole look and and her story. But yeah, so wanted it to be very. Well, originally I wanted to open a boudoir, lots of beautiful underwear, like velvet and lace, but that wasn't going to happen in Mordialloc. So, and probably not really going to happen in this day and age anyway because of online. Yeah. But yeah, so we just went with Spell. I'm trying to remember all my labels. I had, what was it called? The one from overseas. It's got out of my Love for Love and Lemons. I saw some Spanish labels. I'm so sorry, I can't remember the names of them, but so, I got lots of different brands. We had lots of different stuff. A little bit probably higher price pointed. I probably priced myself out of Mordialloc a little bit at the start, apart from Spell. And
because you didn't have any retail experience at all before this?
Apart from beauty therapy, no. Apart from doing treatments and selling in
But that's quite a different...
Completely different.
That's really different.
I just had this vision. I just thought had spent some time in Byron. I don't really know what... I think going back to there, Byron's a really creative hub. Really, really creative. It's changed a little bit now, but it's got an amazing energy. You know, for me it was a really healing space to go. I had some friends there. After Grant and I broke up, I would go there. I just felt at home and felt a bit freer. The ocean there, the beaches there are amazing.
I've actually never been to Byron. I think I'm the only person that in the world that hasn't been to Byron Bay, but I haven't. And but I do know that it's
very popular now.
Yeah, from all accounts, it's changed a lot.
I think so. From when I've only been going there for like 7 years, so I think prior to that, you know, you hear about a lot of change. It's a beautiful place. I loved it. I loved the vibe. There's a lot. It's a very creative hub. Like I said, there's a lot of labels that come out of there. So off we went. We got this. I had a great agent, Cara.
Now, what do you mean when you say an agent?
So an agent for retail is they will represent brands and work with stores for you to stock them. Basically, so I will. Like Cara would email me, like there's a brand that's amazingly popular and great, Little Lies, so she'd email me what's available and you'd place your order.
They're the people middle person. Find out all of these brands, so you're not literally going at yourself all the time to try and find 4,000
labels. I tend to do that myself, but I have a couple of agencies. There's a lot of agencies that represent different brands that you can jump on board with as long as, you know, it's safe for your area and you're not stepping on anyone's toes. So so I've worked with a couple of agents in getting some brands. But yeah, it's with my store, it's funny because at one stage we were, you know, very, very we still represent Spell really well, but we were probably the second largest stockist in Australia for Spell. Really? We were doing really well. It was doing really well.
Tiera Alma in Mordialloc. Yeah. I love it. You put Mordi on the map. No, you probably did.
I don't know about that.
But did. Or one of those
things. Yeah, but the brand's a beautiful brand and has a very strong following, very committed and loyal customer. And we're lucky that it's quite an exclusive brand, so but I don't want to say too much about that. But that sort of put us on the map, put Tiera Alma on the map.
Yeah.
It's a very what's the word I'm looking for? Integral part of Tiera Alma. Yeah, along with all my other brands.
Amazing.
It's great.
So here you were. So you'd had this big kind of life change, this big life change. Your partner, it's all over. You've got 2 children. You've known only
beauty therapy
for so long.
Yeah.
And then you go on a trip and get inspired to open a store.
Yeah.
Or like an online store.
I can be quite impulsive like that. If I get an idea.
Yeah.
And I think I've got to run with it.
Yeah.
And if I don't run with it, someone else will. So let's have a go. And I still had the security of my job.
Yeah.
But I was really unhappy in it. I am really creative. And this was one, because Grant and I had split up and we were selling our home. So my makeup teaching was creative. My home was my creative base as well, because I could make my home how I wanted it to be. Yeah. But when we sold the house, I moved that to the shop. So everyone would say, walking into your shop's like walking into your house.
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, that was the very thing that you wanted to make it feel like, is that you're what you are, and somewhere that could be your home, because it does feel like that. It doesn't feel like a sterile space at all.
I feel like this new space feels like a shop, whereas 226 Beach Road, where I met you, Toni, that felt like home. Was really hard for me to leave that space.
I bet you it was.
Really, really hard. It was like I thought I've got to let go of that. Was kind of letting go of the breakup. It was kind of like that was my transition. Now I'm becoming a big girl.
That's fascinating that you're, it was a shop. It was a brick and mortar space.
Yeah.
But that was probably that was part of your healing process, to be able to go, here's where I'm safe here, I'm safe here, I'm safe here. Now I can safely go somewhere else, and I'm ready to let that part of my life go and become, and then let all of the beauty therapy go, and that whole teaching aspect of your life.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? I had no idea. This is the first time I'm hearing that. We have
a beauty therapy teacher.
That you're a beauty therapy teacher.
Yeah, I loved that. Loved my students.
I can imagine you'd be a really good teacher.
Yeah, I had great connection with most of my students and the staff. Everyone was great, but all changed. That all.
Do you ever miss that though?
I think sometimes, I think I sometimes miss working with the students. We did a lot at Chisholm. I had an amazing boss coordinator, and we when the skills reform came in, we had the opportunity to open up at Frankston, because it was a fee-for-service course at Dandenong and Berwick. So skills reform meant government funding came into our course. That changed everything, and we opened up at Frankston. So we had a lot of different type of students come through our door, just because of the demographics in Frankston. So that was really inspiring, because we worked really hard. We would do what they called world skills. So we were quite we won a lot of world skills. Is like something that all industries come together and they compete within their industry. So you just do statewide, and we often won the state competitions, and so we would then go national. So we'd compete against all the other states, like WA, Queensland, and we were quite. And it's basically you do treatments and you get judged. So and you get scored, and and we would win that. So it was really good to see some of our underprivileged girls come through at Frankston and really push them, and work really. You'd work one-on-one with them and get them to world skills and get a silver or a gold medal. It's like the Olympics of beauty therapy. There was floristry competing, there was chefs competing, there was so many trades competing.
That's
in
amazing.
This big
What a satisfying feeling.
It's
the best thing to be able to know that
I had one particular student that really was just amazing. Came from a really like just a traumatic upbringing, but was really driven and was like, I'm going to get gold. I'm like, yeah, you are. And unfortunately she got silver, but that was okay.
Doesn't matter.
She got up there and she got a medal.
She learned her craft, and you were the person that taught her that.
So I do miss that part of it, but it's a different experience, but I've got a great team in the store.
Yeah. You said that you've got these lovely ladies, women that work with you and help
amazing.
And support you.
Yeah, they're the heart and soul of it with me. Yeah, really good team.
Really cool. And so how do you? So do you have to? It's a full-time job. Retail. What's it like being in retail at the moment? I mean, this is post-COVID. This is post us
really
Melbourne
honest.
being shut down for 6 months last year.
Yeah,
and just starting to
back up again.
fall back into life after October, November, December, January, February, March, April.
It's another 6 months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
another 6 months. It's not that long.
No,
How does it feel?
Really brutally honest, really uninspiring.
Oh.
Really,
And why is that? Why is that?
I just it's so hard to say because the support is there. I feel like people are frightened to come out. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
To come to an actual shop?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think so. To be out. I really don't know, but I feel really. January, when we reopened in November and December, still felt a little bit uninspired. I think I had high expectations because we've been closed for 6 months that we were just going to be flooded with people coming into the store.
Yeah.
January was a fantastic month. I thought, great, COVID's behind us, we're in a new space, here we go, we're off and racing. And then February, March, April, really down on sales. I don't have the answer because I've tried everything. So it's really, I'm just feeling really uninspired. I try and get my mojo back and I'll keep trying, but yeah, so that then makes me miss the old space a little bit more. I'm like, and then I think, no, you had to move from that, and that's amazing what's happening down where I was. Like there's a great gelati shop in, amazing cafe, organic vegan cafes in there. The yoga's there. It's a little hub down there which fits perfectly. Yeah. So we needed to move, and our shop that we're in is beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
No doubt. It's in a good spot though as well, but maybe it's just.
I just don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it.
Maybe it's just that. I mean, look, and
I don't want to be negative because I love what I do.
Absolutely,
but
and it's
I
a beautiful
just feel uninspired right now. Yeah, it is. I think it is.
But I also think it's okay to feel like that. I mean, we all went through, and unless you were locked down, unless you were one of those places, the states, the countries, the whatever, that were actually locked down for such a long time, and we were all up. It was 4 long months. That last one,
a long time.
It is a really, really, really long time, and I think everybody, whether you were continuing to work from home, you were working more hours. My husband was working way more hours. He was working 7 days a week at his desk at home, and it was really stressful. I wasn't working so much. I was trying to sort of generate whatever I could, but not really knowing
Yeah, well, your
what
industry
it was.
would have been affected a
It
little
was
bit,
on all of them. I had to pivot a lot and recreate and redo and re-offer and rethink everything, which is one of the reasons why this show, How Fabulous, actually started, because I thought I have to do something, and I've been thinking about it for so long and I want to do it. So gosh, life is short, I'm going to do it.
Totally understand that.
But everybody's sense of what they feel safe with, I think, and what they want to do and what they should be doing has been really challenged.
I think so, yeah.
So just literally like going out into a shopping centre, because we also were one of those states that had the longest run on mask wearing as well. Yeah,
and that people didn't want to come and try things on wearing a mask.
Yeah.
They came in and they looked and they just thought, I'll come back when we don't have to wear these, because they didn't feel that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Beautiful, like, because your face was covered up and they just couldn't get the whole idea together. But I think for me, I have a 7-year itch. So every 7 years something significant changes in my life. And the shop's been 7 years on March the 1st, so not at all letting the shop go, but want to, like you were saying, I have to find a way to change it up. Yeah. And I have to bring something new, because we've moved from that space at 226 Road, and we've come to 491, which I absolutely love. It doesn't feel like home for me, and maybe that's part of
But you
the
haven't
reason.
been in it, so you didn't get to spend a lot of time in there as a big run?
No.
That was just before COVID.
Yeah, we moved
And
just COVID hit in March. Yeah, we closed. So, so it hasn't been able to, I just can't find my feet with that space, which is kind of weird. But
it sounds like, I mean, you're...
Because people go, it's just shop. And I'm like, well, but yeah, it's got to have an energy.
Yeah,
It's got to have magic. It's got to have an energy.
It is all about...
Yeah. And I think because I haven't got it in that space as much. So yeah, just looking like Tiera Alma will still exist, but I'm looking for I've got to change it up. I've got to find a new path for it. Not sure what that will be.
I think it'll be something amazing because you're certainly not somebody who does things by halves. Like if you're brave enough and you know, wanting to change from doing what you were doing, going through a breakup, you know, still juggling the mum life and the everything else, and then going, yep, I'm going to do this, it's going to be online, but actually no, I'm going to do something else, and yes, I'm going to be stocking all these amazing brands. You will do it, whatever that needs to be. You'll find a way.
Yeah,
and you will
I think I will. Yeah, I will. Like, even my daughter said to me the other day, I was a bit teary about, you know, because the shop's been quiet the last 3 months. I was a bit teary about it, and she said, "Mum, don't cry, don't worry, because it always works out. It always works out."
Yes.
I went, "Oh, it does, doesn't it?" She said, "Every time you've got to this brick wall or something's not flowing, it'll find a way."
I
maybe
agree
today is the start of that by being here with you.
I feel like I really feel
You're inspiring me again.
Well, this is the thing, and I think that it is I mean, I know not everybody sort of buys into that, but I definitely pick up on energy.
Yeah.
I pick up on the people I meet, their energy. I listen to what they're saying. I get inspired by people all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like listening to their stories and thinking about things differently, and you don't know what you don't know if you haven't heard it or you haven't read it or you haven't experienced it. And so today is another one of those days. You're doing something really different, and you're going to be thinking about the different things. Like you were in Byron Bay, you know, and then going, actually, ding, this is when it happened. So I think sometimes
it wasn't a big thought out plan. It was like
it wasn't that. It was meant to happen at the right time, and it will. My kind of life has happened very much like that, and I look back on it because I never had any, you know, big grand, I'm going to be doing wah. Although the first thing was, you know, I studied to be a secretary. Typing is shorthand. Holy moly, can you imagine it?
You're so creative as well, so no, I can't imagine you doing it.
So that was my grand plan. So that's probably why I don't plan so much. But I could imagine,
I'm not a big planner.
I can't imagine you'll meet something will happen, you'll do, and you'll be somewhere and you'll go, oh, that's what it is.
Yes,
and it will be that. And I think it's okay to feel like, you know, I felt it the other day with this, you know, what I'm doing in life. You know, you go, oh, I'm a bit flat about it, quite frankly. Like, what's it all about? And then something else happens, and it's but acknowledging that it's actually okay to feel like that.
Yeah, you've got to acknowledge that you're feeling like
time.
that. Yeah. You think, well, I feel I know I'll find that inspiration again, and it'll be with Tiera Alma. Yeah. But like even coming here today, not really knowing what to expect, thinking, okay, I'll go along, and it's lovely to be here. And then like we're in the middle of working with, the charity Love Your Sister.
Oh, with Sam. Yeah.
So
amazing.
We just, again by chance, because we spoke about talking about the breast cancer, and I'd like to talk about that with you. But what happened was my sister said to me, Sam is going to be at the Mordialloc pharmacy at 2 o'clock. It was probably 3 weeks ago. I want to go and support the charity, and he'll be there with his little trailer and selling his stuff. I said, oh my God, let's go up there. So I thought I'd actually missed him because I thought it was 12 o'clock, and then my sister came in and said, no, it's 2 o'clock. Oh my God, went up there. I was just standing there, was a little bit of a queue, looking around. I thought, I'm going to ask them if they wholesale. So I just said to this gorgeous girl, Christy, do you guys wholesale? And because you've just got to ask the question, and I do it all the time if I find something that I love and want to support. And she said, oh my God, well, we kind of do, but here's my email, let's chat. So now I said, I want to have some of the product in store for Mother's Day and even ongoing. So if we can't pull it off in time for Mother's Day, because obviously they're really busy and I've been busy, but anyway, I've placed my first order. So we're going to be stocking Love Your Sister in store.
Oh, amazing.
So hopefully,
Paula,
and then I've got this amazing customer who has had her hard time. I won't say too much about that, but her workplace, their marketing team's coming on board to try and help us to promote this Love Your Sister. So I thought, well, okay, that's that's something to be very inspired about.
See, there it is already.
Yeah.
Already there's this movement. There's something else happened, and saying yes and being open to it at the right time, like you sitting at that place outside at the Cellars on that
the
day.
Cellars door, and Belinda walks past, then that all comes together. Love Your Sister comes in. I don't know, hopefully one day we can get Samuel into the store, but supporting that charity is amazing.
I remember meeting him
He's
25 years
gorgeous.
ago. He came into, I was working in a recording studio as a producer in Melbourne.
Wow.
And he came in to do a voiceover, and he had this purple velvet jacket with this paisley shirt on, and he had bare feet.
Oh my God, he sounds like my son.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I remember thinking, because I actually didn't know, was Secret Life of Us out then?
Oh, I used to love that show.
It might have been out, or maybe not, I don't know. But I remember going, oh, he looks like a scallywag, doesn't he? Like a fun scallywag. And he was all just, oh my God, I'm still walking around with those shoes on.
He was so lovely that day.
A very lovely man.
Every person he met, he stood there and he listened to them. Like he's got a queue of people.
Yeah.
And he was just amazing. He was really interested in that, everyone for that small moment in time, and it was like, oh, you're lovely.
Yeah.
So we're getting a bit of, very small order just to start and see if we can get some takers. I've got to work hard this week I'm running out of time. I always leave things for the last minute, but that's how I do it. That's
your flavour, man.
That's my
flavour.
Flavour. Yeah, so we're doing that because like when I opened the store in 2014, I think it was that same year, or 2015, I got diagnosed with breast cancer.
Wait, so hang on, so you opened the store?
Only for a year, and then I got diagnosed with breast cancer. And I thought, what the hell am I going to do
now?
Jesus, what? Didn't know what was going to happen.
How did that? So you were on your own, like
Yep, I was single. Yep.
So you're on your own, and you had the store, and you had the children.
Yeah.
And you're excellent. I've got breast cancer.
Yeah, 2 years after. It was 2 years after Grant left. So he left in 2013. Yes, I was 2015.
What did you do?
I don't know. I think I was like a robot. I felt like a robot at the time. I went to New Zealand to visit my son. He was living in New Zealand.
Oh, whereabouts in New Zealand?
He was living in the windy. What's the windy one called? The arty one. Is that in my head? Wellington.
Okay.
Windy Wellington.
No. I'm New Zealander. That's why I always ask. Oh, where did they come from? Anyway, yeah.
Well, she's in New Zealand. New Zealander. She's his ex-partner now, but there's so much I could tell you. But anyway, so
another episode. Why not?
Anyway, so went over to visit Bryn, and I was in the shower and felt a lump in my breast, and I thought, oh, that's nothing. And then came back 2 weeks later. My really close friend Cam said to me, "What are you doing? Have you got that checked?" I went, No, it'll be fine.
So you did not get that checked?
No.
Okay.
And then I did 2 weeks later. I did.
And I would say a lot of women don't, because there's that whole. Was it denial? Do you think, or was it
complete denial? I thought I do not want to know about.
Or did
this.
you go? Oh, I'm just overreacting.
Yeah,
it'll be nothing.
I'll be fine. I'm 47. I'll be fine. Anyway, so I went to the doctor, and then test after test after test.
So did you go for a mammogram?
Yeah, went for a mammogram. Went for ultrasound. And then
what's that whole time period
a CT scan.
Like what is
that went on for a couple of months. They do move pretty quickly, but I didn't have private healthcare, so I was really frightened about that. I was only public. I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? Like, I don't know what's going to happen. But the doctor I was seeing, a lot of private breast surgeons work in the public system as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So they donate some. They don't donate, but they work in both systems, which is fantastic.
Sorry, didn't think that would happen. I'll just do that. That's another slab that I owe.
But anyway, got all the tests done, found out that I had 3 lumps in my breast. At first, I was only going to have the lumps removed. Long story short, found another lump and said, no, you're losing your breast. So
they were all in the one breast?
All in the one breast, my left breast. And she just rang me Friday afternoon. I was going to pick Abby up at school. She just rang and said, bad news, Paula. It's breast cancer, and there's 3 lumps, and the breast is coming off. You're having a mastectomy. They'll the Monash team will be in touch with you really soon.
Oh my God! So you're in the car on your own?
Yeah, going to pick up Abby.
Like, what goes through your head?
I just burst into tears.
Oh, Paula! Oh my God!
Awful. Yeah, and then then the next, I was really frightened. I think I was a bit angry. Then the next couple of days, this nurse Tanya, I won't say her last name, the most amazing woman I have ever met in my life, rings me and says, I'm the liaisons nurse for Monash Breast Care Team. We're going to get you in to see a surgeon. I'm beside myself because I don't know who this surgeon is and what's going on. Anyway, it was really frightening. But
because that's the thing. Like, who do you talk to?
Yeah, because if you've got private, you can choose your surgeon, I guess. But for me, I was just like, I don't know what's going on here. So I went into Monash, and I was just lucky. I was so lucky. She was amazing, Tanya, and the breast care team at Monash are the most amazing people. My breast surgeon was amazing. My plastic surgeons that I still see now. I've had a bit of time off, but I have to go back for more reconstruction, but I still see now they're just the best. So I was really lucky though, so lucky, because my tumours, I didn't have the cancer in the lymph, and I didn't have to have chemo, and they thought I'd have to have radiation, but I didn't have to have radiation. So I lost my breast, and then they wanted me to take a drug called tamoxifen afterwards, and I just said no. I said I'm not taking it. I'll just look after myself. I'll be healthy.
And what would tamoxifen what would that have done?
It's like put you into early menopause, because my tumours were estrogen positive or driven by estrogen, so they wanted to suppress my estrogen. So I was just under that public system, which was great.
So you had a really, as far as you could, a positive experience.
I had a really
because it could have been horrendous.
Yeah. Losing your breast is difficult. And that changes you, but I've been so lucky. Some women that I know that are really close to me have, and I'm not allowed to say who they are, but really, really close to me, have had a much worse experience. I was very lucky. I remember my plastic surgeon, Will, saying to me, "Oh my God, you've only opened a business a year ago. What are you going to do? How are you going to go?" Because at that time we didn't know what was ahead of me. I said, I have no idea. I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going and keep going and keep going.
Your story has been amazing. Thank you so much for sharing it. I feel really, I feel like I'm going to stop rolling on this and then just be thinking about it all day.
Yeah,
and I think that's the thing, it's why I'm loving talking to people, just finding out. Thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure to hear your story.
Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful Paula from Tiera Alma.